Let's turn this glass vase into a work of art. First, we're going to clean it up with some isopropyl alcohol, get rid of all the grease. We're going to be using some Form Flex compound, a wonderful product I recommend highly. And we are going to make some castings with it that's going to go on this beautiful vase. I used an IOD mold, but I'm just going to show you for the purposes of demonstration here that you um, can use any mold. This isn't the exact one that I used, but um, you put a little cornstarch inside with a little applicator that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's just a makeup brush, just a little dusting. Then you're going to knead your clay and put it inside the mold. And here's the magic tool, a little credit card that you press it down and take off all the excess. And that gives you a clean edge when you unmold it. Once you've done that, you're going to take and put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes and it will pop right out. You can use it just like that, or you can let it dry, air dry overnight, and then put it on whatever you want to apply it to. It's such an easy process, and this particular Formflex compound is just beautiful. It comes out clean, it doesn't crack, it's just a nice smooth casting when it comes out. And you can keep it in plastic in the refrigerator and it will keep for a very long time. I usually don't keep mine very long. So here's the IOD mold that I used, and the trim mold was from Amazon. Um, Here are the castings that I used. They are little flourishes. It is called acanthus, and that's a leaf. So you can form it any which way you want. I like to play with it a little bit before I decide how I'm going to put it on my piece. And so that one formed a heart, and I thought it was kind of appropriate, being that Valentine's Day is coming up. I used Tight Bond Quick and Thick. It's a great product as well. It dries quickly and it bonds quickly, hence the name, Tight Bond Quick and Thick. So it comes out white and it turns clear. So that's a nice feature as well. I just put it on these little trim molds and applied it around the curve of the vase. And this mold is so soft and so flexible that it's easy to cut with a little razor blade, as you can see I'm doing here. I'm a huge fan of Formflex compound. I love the way it molds so easily and it comes out beautifully. The detail is beautiful. Okay, so I'm putting on some of the Tight Bond Quick and Thick here on these flourishes that I'm going to apply to the vase. It's pretty easy. My suggestion is you don't put on too much because you don't want it squishing out onto your vase. And so you just leave it on there for a second. You can add some painter's tape if you like. That would make it easier to hold it until it dries. But when I'm on a live and I've got 45 minutes, I got to figure out how to make it go. So sometimes I just just go with it. A little heat tool sometimes helps as well, helps the drying process. And as you can see, that turns out really, really pretty. Um, what I did was I just dried it a little bit with my heat tool, and it quickly starts to set up so that it's not going to slide on you. Okay, second verse, same as the first. I'm going to do the same thing, a mirror image to the other side, and we're going to put the little medallion on and the flourishes just exactly the way the first side was. Once you have that on, you can give it a little heat set and give it, I keep pressing it just because I'm a little over the top when it comes to that. But turning it upside down helped gravity work in my favor for just a few minutes. And I prepared my Fusion Mineral Paint in coal black. That is what I used. Fusion Mineral Paint is a wonderful product as well. One of my favorite acrylic paints. It's a Canadian-based company, and I adore all the colors that they offer. Coal black is one of my go-tos. So I'm going to paint this entire vase actually in the coal black. First, I'm getting in there and painting up all of the molds. Here I'm showing you how I'm going to set it on that little crown from Totally Dazzled. Here I'm using an antique gold wax from Pentart, and I'm just going around with my finger and rubbing it on all of the high points of the mold, and it just turns out so pretty. It's kind of like the jewelry, if you will. Now, I put this on first and then I end up dry brushing it and putting on some more. So here we go, part two. I decided to paint the whole thing, as I said, and you do that by just getting in there with a big flat brush and getting it on there as fast as you can. Fusion mineral paint is highly pigmented, so it doesn't take a whole lot of coats. This particular one was done in 2 coats. I also love mixing my Fusion mineral paint with other not so expensive or not so quality acrylic paints because it kind of ups the quality of the paint you're using. The Fusion mineral paint is a high quality, high pigmented paint, and you can put slick stick on your glass if you're going to be using it a lot, washing it, all the things. But if this is just a piece that you're going to use for decor purposes, or for me, I'm thinking of using it in my craft room and maybe adding some brushes to it or some long glue sticks or something like that. I'm just going to be using it for a little organization in my craft room. And so I don't think I need the slick stick. But by all means, if you're going to be using it and dusting it and cleaning it and washing it and all of that, use the slick stick base first before you put down your acrylic on glass or metal for that matter. Okay, so we are getting this covered pretty well. I didn't paint the bottom of the vase. I left it clear simply because it'll scratch off anyway. Looks a little like a tuxedo, doesn't it? um, so I'm going to go ahead and dry it up and we're going to give it a second coat of Fusion mineral paint. Because you can just see a little bit of the glass poking through. I just wanted it to be nice and solid. And what I didn't make mention of was this is done in 2 parts. One live video I did on Facebook and then a follow-up live video to finish it up. So what you're seeing on the other side is where I played with it a little bit off camera and I gave it a little muddled look in the center of that heart. It looks a little bit like, I guess, like stone. And so I'm going to show you how to do that on the other side, the mirror side, once we're done painting and drying it all up. Okay, so now I have to decide if I want to paint the lip of the vase, and I do. I decided I would do it on the outside, so just in case I ever do want to put anything liquid inside the vase, it won't be touching the paint, and it will be okay as long as I don't get too much of the paint wet when I empty the vase and clean it from the inside. So there's that. So I just turned it upside down and I'm giving it its first coat here. And as you know, it's going to take 2, so be patient. Once coat 1 is on, we're going to heat it and dry it a little bit. And then we're going to go with coat 2. And as you can see from the underside of the vase, it becomes quite opaque on coat 2. So it definitely was needed, but it looks great. Drying it up just a little bit with my heat tool. And we'll move on to some of the final steps. The fun part. Now you'll see me grab my Pentart antique gold paste again, and I'm going to go over all of the beautiful high points, and this is where the magic happens. It just pops after you add all these details. And I just put a little bit on my finger and lightly go around all of the high points. It happens quickly. And I love the antique gold paste. It just gives the whole piece a little bit of shimmer. Now I'm going to be going over it so as to work in layers. I'm dry brushing Fusion Mineral Paint in raw silk. Very, very lightly, very little of it actually is on that brush. So I'm going to dry brush some of those details as well. And so there'll be gold underneath, and then there will be gold on top in the end. And you really can't see the gold underneath on camera, but trust me, it's there. It's a layered effect, and it's really, really pretty. Okay, so once this dry brush technique dries, we're going to go in and do the center of the heart with a little dappling. That's what I call it anyway. I just take one of my smaller brushes and I add a little bit of black and a little bit of the Fusion Mineral Paint in the raw silk, and it creates a marbling effect. I really love the way it turns out. So we're basically creating a canvas that I'll be painting on in the center of the heart. Okay, so now I'm going back in with the last coat of the antique gold wax, and I'm giving it a little bit of shimmer. And I just love it. I think it's so pretty. Now, the pent art comes in all different colors, and you can make it any color you would like. So if you have any kind of metallic color that you prefer or have in your home decor, you can match it. Missed a spot. So, okay, when all of this is done being fussed at, you can really see how beautiful that gold made it. For one of the final touches, I put on some small rosebuds, one stroke painting style, and I just picked up the white Fusion Mineral Paint casement, it's called, and I used just a primary red acrylic paint from Deco Art, and I combine the two colors on my brush. And what you're not seeing really well on this demonstration, and you will see in just a few moments on the other side, I bring it up close so you can see it a little bit better, is I create a kind of a blended effect going in kind of a rainbow shape from side to side. And then underneath, I do a smaller under, like a U shape, and then another bigger U shape, and that forms a bud. See how I did that there? It just forms a little bit of a bud, and I add some little petals on each side. Okay, hopefully you can see this here. It's kind of a rainbow, and then another U shape and a U shape. It comes together so quickly. I do have a tutorial on how I do that, so you can check my videos and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But I just wanted the center of that heart to be more of a frame, like a canvas for a frame. And there we go. I've got some green on there, put a little stem on, a couple of little leaves, and we have some beautiful rosebuds. These are addictive. I'm just giving you forewarning if you ever learn how to do these. They're very addictive. You'll be painting them on everything you own. My husband doesn't stand still. He doesn't want to be a rosebud. Okay, so there you have it, folks. You can put some tissue paper in the center there and build it up so that you can either add some of your paintbrushes or some florals like I have here. And in the end, I added some more molds, and in 24 hours, you can seal the piece completely in Fusion Mineral Paint Tough Coat, and look how gorgeous it is. I added an antique bronze, totally dazzled crown for the base, a couple of totally dazzled antique bronze bows, and I absolutely love it. Tell me what you think about this transformation and where you'd use it in your home. Thanks so much for watching.